Hey, what's up everybody? It's James Freeman and we are back talking about Espanola, New Mexico again because the corruption and the crime from public officials in the area just doesn't ever seem to stop. So here's a recap of a bunch of the corruption that's gone on over the last few years in Espanola, New Mexico. After that, we'll catch you up with what's going on now.
Tommy Rodella, the now disgraced former Rio Arriba County Sheriff, wouldn't comment on his prison sentence. Rodella will spend the next 10 years in federal lockup. In September, a jury convicted Rodella of civil rights violations and gun charges. It was early last year when a 26-year-old man pulled out in front of Tommy Rodella. The sheriff chased him down, wrestled him out of the car, handcuffed him, and held a gun to his head. The victim complained to state police, and federal prosecutors took over the case.
An Espanola city councilor is facing felony charges after police say he viciously attacked a man.
Matthew Lopez saw an elected official beat up his friend with a gun.
He just goes up to the truck and he starts hitting David in the back of the head. I see David just trying to cover his head like that.
Espanola city councilor Eric Radosevich is now facing aggravated battery and assault charges. Saturday night, Radosevich and his friends got into a fight with another group at a gas station in Powake when one man threatened to take the other's wife and truck, and so the victims left.
It could have ended there, but they had to follow us.
They drove down the road to a restaurant, and Radosevich followed. Deputies say that's when the city councilor pistol whipped the other man, smashing his head with the gun over and over until the victim drove away. Investigators say Radosevich then fired the gun at the fleeing truck, hitting it twice.
These are your government officials in Espanola, New Mexico. This is your typical government official in Espanola, New Mexico, it seems. But the stuff I'm going to recap for you here is stuff where John Ramon Vigil was allegedly implicated in some things, but it seems like he was the one who kind of always got away. And these new headlines are about him. So in 2019, the city of Espanola brought in new police chief Roger Jimenez, who was tasked with cleaning up the corruption from within. And this is exactly what he did, bringing multiple charges against his own city council members, his own government, and even his local sheriff.
A former Espanola city councilor has pleaded guilty to federal gun charges. 39-year-old Philip Chacon was armed when law enforcement officers went to execute a search warrant at his home last year. Chacon did drop the gun, but barricaded himself inside. At one point, Rio Arriba County Sheriff James Lujan, who was friends with Chacon, tried to take over the crime scene. Chacon eventually surrendered, but investigators learned he had a stolen rifle inside. He faces up to 10 years in prison.
Espanola police say they initially wanted to talk to City Councilor John Ramon Vigil as a witness on a separate case they were working on last month. But after talking to him, they say they realized he had something to hide.
It does look like they are working directly with each other as partners for the purpose of a commission for Mr. Vigil.
Espanola Police Chief Roger Jimenez says they were trying to get more information for their investigation into Philip Chacon, who has a long criminal history. You might remember Chacon as the man who barricaded himself inside an Espanola house back in March when police say Rio Arriba Sheriff James Lujan showed up drunk and tried to take over the scene. Now, during police's investigation, they found out Chacon was talking to Espanola City Councilor John Ramon Vigil. When officers tried to ask Vigil why he was talking to Chacon, police say he lied many times and even appeared to be interested in taking a bribe to get rid of the city manager, who Chacon did not get along with.
The biggest concern for me is the fact that he was willing to take a bribe for the $25,000 in order for him to run for mayor.
Vigil's attorney tells News 13 these allegations are false. He says the chief is corrupt and claims that he's trying to get back at him politically. He also claims he never knew Chacon was being investigated for any crime.
So John Ramon Vigil was accused of taking this $25,000 bribe to run for mayor so that he could fire the city manager because Phil Chacon didn't like it. He was never convicted of anything. As a matter of fact, the charges were dropped. He does run for mayor. He is elected. He does win. And he does fire the city manager. He also fires the chief of police. At the time that I made that video, I said that residents were worried that with these new events unfolding, that Espanola was going to be back to the same old corrupt political BS as what went on before Roger Jimenez came in and started cleaning things up. And sure enough, in June of 2023, Danielle Bustos comes forward to the city manager and HR director with claims of sexual harassment against John Ramon Vigil. Then goes to the court to file for a restraining order. Her restraining order was thrown out. It was not granted. I don't remember the details of what happened there, but I'm pretty sure that Danielle Bustos ended up just leaving. Then the city manager, Jordan Yetzi, that had taken her complaint, was fired. Then alleged victim number 2 comes forward, Laura Rendon. I don't know how to pronounce her name. Rendon, I believe. She was the executive assistant to the mayor and the city manager, and she also accused John Ramon Vigil of sexual harassment and a hostile work environment and ended up resigning. So John Ramon Vigil is also a trustee on a co-op. January 2024, 2 females, it looks like, came forward to the co-op making complaints of harassment against Vigil. Again, all these people really basically saying the same thing. The co-op demanded that Vigil stay off of the co-op property pending the investigation of the employee complaints. I don't really have any more detail on that, whether he ended up being kicked off the co-op, if anything ever came of it. But it seems that over the years, it seems that everyone surrounding any of these incidents either resigns or gets fired. Then in October of 2024, allegedly Vigil invites a city employee out to dinner with himself and city manager Eric Lujan, also known as Mr. Burns from The Simpsons, and allegedly at that dinner starts groping the city employee.
Sexual assault, verbal abuse, and intimidation. These are the allegations against a New Mexico mayor, leading state police to open an investigation. A woman who works at City Hall claims Espanola's mayor inappropriately touched her multiple times in front of other city leaders.
According to a temporary protection order, an Espanola city employee fears for her life after several encounters with Espanola Mayor John Vigil. According to a letter she wrote to New Mexico's Department of Justice detailing the claims, it started with late-night text messages in September. She writes, the mayor would text her saying he was buzzed and needed a drink to go to bed. He would also allegedly ask her about her personal life, saying he wanted to be supportive. Then in October, the woman writes she went to dinner with Mayor Vigil and city manager Eric Lujan, and the mayor started complimenting her, calling her a blessing and a professional asset. She writes, after the meal, Vigil slipped his hand under her dress, trying to move it up her thigh, holding onto it and squeezing it with force. According to her, it happened more than once. She told him to stop and went to the bathroom. But it allegedly continued as they were leaving. She writes, Vigil was belligerent, hugging her aggressively and touching her inappropriately again. She writes, city manager Lujan told him to stop and had to get in between them. The mayor allegedly told the woman, I make the rules, I do what I want, I always get what I want.
I think it shows a disturbing trend of behavior that we've seen from the mayor over the last couple of years, where he has had an attitude where he feels like he can do what he wants. He's been very arrogant in city council meetings. Many people have felt that he's had a temper for a long time.
City Councilor Sam Ledoux says he has asked the mayor to resign. Councilor Justin Torres planned to do the same. They met Wednesday to discuss the employee's complaint in a closed-door meeting.
I really hope he understands that if he truly loves and cares about this city, that he'll just step aside.
The victim's letter goes on to state after all this happened, she was on the receiving end of violent verbal outbursts and aggressive, mean glares. She claims Vigil told her boss he hated her and she was useless. And she says she heard from others the mayor was furious with her because of the quality of her work.
Based off my experience with him, maybe the sexual nature of the allegations is shocking, but some of the other details in the police report about his behavior of being arrogant and angry and yelling at staff, that seems to align with what I've seen personally.
So remember how I said that it seems that everyone surrounding allegations against Mayor John Ramon Vigil either get fired or resign? Well, apparently the city manager was present that night when this woman was allegedly sexually assaulted by Mayor John Ramon Vigil, and now he's resigned. So on May 22nd, 2025, the city manager and the mayor, between the two of them, come up with an agreement for the city manager to take a bunch of money, walk away, and shut up. And this 4-page agreement is signed by just these two individuals. And I want to point out one of the best parts of this agreement. So this is some deal made strictly by the mayor, who's accused of sexually assaulting someone in front of the city manager. And the two of them make this deal for the city manager to take a bunch of money and walk away and shut up. Number 9 on this agreement says, should the courts or any entity with jurisdiction determine that any element or parts of this agreement is invalid, illegal, or unenforceable, that shall not invalidate the agreement. And all of the terms and all of the remaining terms shall remain in full force and effect. These two guys got together and decided, hey, Eric Lujan, I know you totally witnessed me grab this girl by the apparently you told the police that you witnessed it. Just like everybody else who's accused me, you're gonna have to go too. But here's a whole bunch of money. Between the two of us, we decided, here's a bunch of money, you get out of here, you shut up. And let's also write in this little deal that should this deal be legal, it still holds up anyways. This right here, this is a display of the arrogance of John Ramon Vigil. He genuinely, truly believes, and accurately believes, I would say, that he can do whatever he wants, because he can. He always has. He's always gotten away with it. What he told the alleged victim of this sexual assault is, he gets to do this. He always gets to do this. He always gets to get away with it. And you know what? He's not wrong.